Dive into the Guardians winning a baseball game for the first time in a long time, after a quick reminder that FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. It's also the official sportsbook sponsor of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. If you guys have any winning FanDuel tickets, whether you're betting on the Guardians, NBA Summer League, golf, soccer, you name it, you can find it on FanDuel. If you win, send us the ticket so we can feature it here on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. And if you haven't downloaded FanDuel yet, what are you waiting for? Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if their first $5 bet wins. Open up the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com/UCSS to get started. Bull, been a while since I can say this.
Yeah.
But the Guardians were winners last night. They beat the Astros, one of the hottest teams in baseball. Bybee, not a great performance, but it was enough to get the win. And the 10-game losing streak. I'm saying the Guardians, enough to get the Guardians to win. And the 10-game losing streak for Cleveland has officially come to an end.
Tell them who called it.
You called it? You said they were going to win?
He had no reason to why they were winning.
That's not the point.
He had no reason.
I didn't even remember you saying
You didn't see that in the chat?
No, I didn't.
Said take it to the bank.
All right, I'll give you the credit for it. Good job. You get. What's funny is in their previous.
Everyone give Thomas a round of applause.
Thank you.
In their previous 7 games, the Guardians had scored a total of 9 runs, and then they scored 7 last night. What's funny is the game. It looked like it was going to be another, like 1-0 game. It was 0-0 going to the 5th, and then the Guardians scored 4 in the top of the 5th, including the Ramirez homer, and then the Astros come right back off Bybee and tie it up. And Bybee doesn't. Bybee's got a 4-0 lead going to the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, he had a no-hitter.
A no-hitter.
Yeah, no-hitter going into the 5th.
And then he can't get out of the 5th inning, which is unbelievable and just sums up his season. Nonetheless, the team did come right back, scored 2. Astros got 1 on the bottom of the 5th, and then the Guardians tacked on with the David Fry homer late to give them the 7-5 win. But so I don't know. Anybody? Did any of you guys watch it?
I watched. I tapped in and out, and the best thing I saw was the Astro City Connect unis.
That's crazy. I tapped in right at the bottom of the 4th, at the 4th inning, and I watched José hit the home run, and I was like, ha! And then I sat there and I watched the 3-run homer by the Astros going. I'm like, get Bybee out of there. They left him in. Yeah. Boom, another home run. I turned it off. I said, let me go to bed. Here we go again. I see why fans feel the way they feel. Like, they give you this hope. Nothing was worse than the Detroit 1-0 loss. That was
nasty work.
Oh, my goodness. But this felt like this was about to be that same type of thing. Where it was like 4-0. I'm like, oh, they're going to run away with it. And boom, they give up the lead and tie the game. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably done. And I woke up this morning, to my surprise, 7-5 win. So I was happy to see that. I see Rocchio was the one who got the RBI to get the run in to give us the lead. And then David Fry homers in the 9th, which is good for him because he's been struggling. We was talking about a couple weeks ago about him getting sent down to the minors.
He's still struggling despite that.
It's still good to see something.
Yeah, I mean.
Like, give me something. Give me a reason to why you should be here. Yeah, that's nasty. That's terrible. But, hey, he came through. And they got the dub. And this is hopefully they can continue to sprinkle them off. Who knows? They sweep this series and sweep the White Sox.
Yeah, good luck with that.
You never know.
They're facing one of the best pitchers in baseball tonight, so we'll see. Anthony, did you watch the game?
Yeah, I kind of started checking out, actually, in the 5th inning. And then we scored the 4 runs, and I was like, all right, I'm back in. Houston goes right back to him. I was like, it's all over. Get Bybee out. So what is it? As somebody who doesn't quite understand the mechanics of pitching, why does it seem like the 5th inning, he was only at, 53 pitches, I think, when he was going into the 5th inning? Why does he just lose his command there? Is there something
it's hard to say. There's
nothing
nothing
have to worry
specific.
about with his arm?
There's nothing. No, not really. I mean, unlikely. But there's nothing. There's usually nothing you can point to specifically. It just happens.
It'd be like
is it real quick for him? Is it the 3rd time through the lineup? That seems to be when he runs into issues, and I know that's a lot of the reason why managers have gone to these bullpen games to avoid having your starter face the same top of the lineup 3 times.
But it wasn't the 3rd time in the lineup. You were
last night.
What's that?
He got through the beginning of the lineup 3 times last night, then got taken out.
Right, but that inning started, they were still at the 2nd turn through the lineup at the 5th inning. the Astros would be in no hit. How many base runners did they have in
Just
the first
the one
4 innings?
walk.
Huh?
Just the one walk.
Right. So that means they were up to the. It was the 5th hitter for the second time to start the 5th inning. That's it.
Okay, fair. I'm saying he
So
ended up getting through the top of the order for
Well,
the third time. Yeah.
because he gave
Because
up a
he
bunch of
couldn't get
base
out, yeah.
runners. It was mostly the second time. There's no excuse. You have a 4-0 lead. I mean, the Astros, to their credit, are very hot. They've been one of the hottest teams in baseball. So, you give them some credit. But no, there's no excuse for, third time around, because that wasn't who did most of the damage. It was 5 through 9 in the lineup there.
Is it messed up to think that, like, if you don't have overpowering stuff, like, I can't look at you like, man, what happened in the 5th inning? It's called you was throwing the ball and you was getting hit. Like, if you don't got, like, you mentioned something the other day. Like, you was like, the Guardians don't have an ace. Have you downgraded him to a 2?
Well, I mean, he never proved himself to be an ace. I think he has the ability to be that. I think Gavin Williams has the ability to be that. But until you're consistently pitching, there's not that many aces. Tarek Skubal.
Define, like, okay, for a bunch of people that say, we say ace a lot, just like people say franchise quarterback.
So
define
Shane
ace.
Bieber, when he was healthy, is an ace. Tarek Skubal of the Tigers is an ace. It's hard to define, but I'll say you just kind of know it when you see it. It's a guy who dominates almost all of the time, right? And a guy who consistently goes, I'll say now 6 innings. It should be 7 or 8, but I'll say 6, and gives up less than 3 runs a game. If you're consistently giving up 2 runs or less, look at Tarek Skubal. I bet he hasn't given up more than 2 runs in a game 3-4 times all year.
I'll tell you one sec.
You look at Hunter Brown of the Astros. I bet you he's barely given up. And when they do give up more, it's 3 or 4. There's not like a 7-run game. I bet you like
what number? 2 for Skubal?
How many times has he given up 2 earned runs or less? I bet you he's had 3, maybe 4 starts where he's given up more than 2 earned runs.
More than 2 earned runs.
Yeah.
1. So he had 5 starts in June. Only one of those was more than 2 earned runs.
Right.
He had 6 starts in May. 2 of those were more than 2 earned runs.
All right.
The other 4, 0-0, 1-1. And the 2 that were more were 3 and 5.
Right.
And then his first 2 starts of the season, he gave up 4 and 3.
How long should you stay like?
So it's 4 starts where he gave up more than 2 runs, right? Or did you
5.
skip April?
5.
5. So 5 starts. And how many of them did he give up 3?
1, 2.
So he's had 5 starts where he's given up more than 2 runs, and only 3 where he's given up more. That's an ace.
And here's the amount of 2
he
or
dominates almost every time.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 starts of 2 or fewer runs.
Yeah. How many did Bieber and Gavin Williams have? Nowhere near that. I mean, Gavin Williams probably got.
I got to count. I won't do that live. I'll do that to you.
That's
How long do you? Let me figure out how to ask this question.
Before you do, real quick, just to be fair, Tarek Skubal's been pitching longer than Gavin Williams,
and that has to do with my question.
And that they'll have more time, and I think they're both capable of it. But right now, they're not aces.
So my question is, when do you say, all right, this guy's not an ace? How many years do you think they need pitching till you be like, that guy's just not going to be an ace?
And let me add this. Bull says you have to do it more than 1 year.
Yeah.
Like, is Paul Skeens an ace to you?
Yes.
Okay, and this is year 2 for him?
Yeah.
But last year you knew, boom, that's an ace.
I mean, he's a once-in-a-decade player.
Okay.
So, yes, you knew right away. But guys like that, that's very rare. Max Fried hasn't always been. He is right now. I mean, there have been times where it's questionable.
So when do you think, when you look at Bybee and Gavin Williams, when will you be like, all right?
Where I'm going to give up on the idea that they can be a number, like an ace, a horse? Because Shane Bieber's been an ace here.
Yes.
Corey Kluber's been an ace here, right? You've had that. Meanwhile, you had other really good pitchers that have been here over the past decade or so, like Carlos Carrasco, Trevor Bauer, Mike Clevenger, Justin Masterson going into the Wayback Machine. These guys have all been really good, but none of those guys are aces. There's a difference between a number 2, a number 3, and an ace. Shane Bieber, ace. Corey Kluber, at his best, was an ace. Tarek Skubal, the Tigers have it. CC was an ace. Cliff Lee but not for as long.
He had like a 2 to 3 year stretch where it was like, I'm that guy. And he really didn't throw that hard.
And then CC wasn't anymore at the end of his career. But when he was with the, for the later stages with Cleveland, that short time at Milwaukee, and for the early part of his career with the Yankees, he was a clear ace. You knew every start he was going to, at the very least, keep you in the game, with very rare exceptions, and he was going to dominate a high percentage of the time.
Who would you bet on out of Bybee and Gavin?
I've always thought Gavin Williams was a little more talented than Bybee, but I'm concerned with Williams. And again, it's maybe it's unfair because I don't know him personally, and I'm not in the locker room, even though I know people who are. But my concern with Gavin Williams is he doesn't, and this will, if this changes, this is when he's going to become an ace potentially. I don't think he trusts his stuff as much as he should because he has elite stuff. Like, he should be an ace. And again, he's only been in the big leagues 2 years. There's a lot of guys who don't be, Greg Maddux, one of the greatest pitchers ever. Go look at his stats in his first, year or two. It wasn't that great. There's a lot of pitchers, especially with pitchers, it takes some time. We don't have as much patience as we used to. And Williams and Bybee, it's not like they've been bad pitchers. They've been solid pitchers, and at times better than that. But it's when you consistently get, once they start 8 out of every 10 starts are dominant performances, that's when you know you have an ace. 8 out of every 10.
I think we've got the short patience as Guardians fans because as soon as they start getting to that level in year 3, 4, we know they're not going to stick around.
That's fair.
So although they did now.
Although they did extend Bybee.
That's true. So we have him to count on for, how long was his contract for? How long was his extension?
I don't remember how long the extension was.
Wasn't it 5 years, $100 million? Is that what it came out to be?
I'll
double check.
I can't remember now the exact numbers.
They gave $100 million what?
But it feels like everybody on the Guardians, as soon as they do start hitting that stride, it's like, all right.
No way, that's true.
I don't remember how much it was.
You got to check the car fast.
I don't remember it being
was 5 years. 5 years, $48 million.
Yeah, not $100 million.
And it has the options if you add them on later that surpassed that $48 million, but it's 48.
Is these player options or team?
No, that'd be
crazy, man.
Club options.
Oh yeah.
How many club options do they have after the 5 years?
16.
The club option for 2030 is worth $21 million.
Oh, they'll be declining that by then. Or it'll be
how much?
21 million.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how good he is at that point. There's one club option for 2030?
Yeah.
They'll be declining that.
All right, dog.
They ain't
Or they'll pick it up and then trade him.
So Williams and Bybee will be great aces.
We'll see. I mean, by 2030, $20 million, even if he's a number 2 starter, will be a good.
It'll be a bargain.
Yeah.
And due to inflation, that's like $15 million.
And then we're going to have a lockout at the end of next year or a strike, whatever.
You think that's going to happen?
Oh, 95%.
They want a shorter season?
No, it's not going to be a strike. It's going to be a lockout because the owners are, I think, going to finally try to get a salary cap in baseball, which the players will not agree to.
What's going to happen to teams like the Dodgers, who are already over whatever preset salary cap?
We're a long way from that.
Fair,
How they figure that part out, I have no idea. But I think a lot of teams want it.
They'll hit them. Listen, all they got to do is go talk to the NBA dudes. They say, how do you get that? Well, you can amnesty somebody. Well, you can say you got 3 years to taper down this.
Yeah, they'll have to figure that
2
out.
2 years, or it's massive penalties. So they'll find a way to be.
So it's going to be tricky. I don't know that for sure. The problem is there's infighting within the owners. I'm sure the Dodgers owners don't want a salary cap.
Yeah, that amnesty thing was. They ever bring that to the NFL,
man,
number 4 would be the first person, the Cleveland Browns.
He certainly would.
They fly that rule to.
Man, they be. Now they bring amnesty to real jobs. They like your amnesty today.
You're out. All right, Mike.
You guys ready to move on?
Yeah.
I got your Bybee and Williams game logs real quick though. So this season, Tanner Bybee has made 18 starts.
Okay.
Yeah.
How many of those, Bold, do you think 2 or fewer runs?
Now,
fewer?
By the way, one caveat there. which I didn't mention with Skubal, but I'm not sure. He had to have pitched at least 6 innings.
Yeah, and with Gavin Williams, we get into the numbers being a lot less for
So
Tanner
how many
Bybee.
times in his 18 starts did he go 6 or more and give up 2 runs or 2 earned runs or less? I'll say 3, 4 for or
I
5
got-
for
With the
Bybee.
caveat, he had to go at least 6.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say 2.
2. I'm going 2.
6.
Okay.
Really?
That's not
Look
bad.
at that.
The
Okay,
issue
put some
with Tanner
respect on his
Bybee is when
name.
he hasn't been good, he's been
horrible.
bad. He's been bad.
How many times he didn't get up over 5 runs?
4 times with 5 or more runs, and then 4 times with 4 runs.
Yeah. And then what about Williams? I'll say Williams has maybe 6 starts of 6. No, because he doesn't go 6 a lot of times. I'll say 4.
Anyone else want to guess?
For Williams, I'll stick with 2 again.
I'm going with 2 again, too.
5.
No kidding.
Out of 18 for him also?
Maybe
Yep.
maybe it's not
But
as
that's
bad.
less than a third of the time.
It's not as bad as I think it is.
Maybe
And that's why
they're twos.
Again,
So
they're
there's some
good pitchers.
twos. So
They're twos.
they got some 2-2s.
But
They're
to-
inconsistent. The difference between
But-
Skubal is 80% of the time you're getting a start like that.
Right.
For Bybee and Williams, it's a third to
right.
a
That's
third.
a huge difference.
Yeah.
You know?
And when they're not on, it's ugly at times. When
Yeah.
Skubal's not on, a bad game for Skubal's 6 1/3, 3 runs allowed.
right. Plus, Skubal goes deeper. Like,
Yeah.
how many times have Bieber and Gavin Williams pitched 7 innings or more?
Gavin Williams has not reached 7 innings this season.
Not once.
Bybee has done it 4 times.
Okay, so Bybee's done a 4,
So
Williams 0.
36 starts between the two.
There's 4.
So 1 out of every 9
And-
starts for them.
Right. And think about that. Think about how that affects the bullpen, right? How many times has Skubal gone 7 innings or more?
Give me 1 sec to pull
I
the
bet
game
you it's
up.
at least 10 of his 18 starts.
Skubal this season
Yeah.
has made 18 starts. He
Yeah.
has gone 7 or more innings 8 times.
Okay.
And he's gone 6 innings or more 13 times.
Yeah. Wow. Does he have 5 starts where he didn't go 6 innings?
Early in the season, 5 2/3, 5 2/3, 5 2/3, 5 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
But look at that. You said 12 of his 18, he went at
13 of his 18 won at least 6.
least. How many? So 8 of almost half his starts, he went 7 innings. Meanwhile, Bybee and Williams, between the 2 of them,
4
they don't
times.
even, it's not even half.
He's
So-
doubled their amount of.
Yeah, exactly. With half the amount of starts. And that
crazy
saves the
work.
bullpen. That's a big difference. Again, Skubal's been in the league longer. Skubal wasn't.
He's a
And-
Cy Young winner.
Yeah, and
Very
but
different
remember,
caliber.
at Skubal, at this point in his career where Bybee and Williams were, wasn't as dominant
he
as he
almost
is now.
30, right?
I don't know
He's
how
20
old
he's
he is.
29, I think. I
don't,
looked up
I don't
last
think he's
night.
quite 30 yet, but he's
Skubal's
been-
28.
Yeah.
28.
Wait,
So those guys have a chance to
before
be
you-
really good.
Before we switch topics, I want
Yeah.
to ask this hypothetical
Yeah.
question. Hypothetically speaking,
Yeah.
let's say that the Guardians sweep the Astros, the White Sox, and the Athletics. I know it's far-fetched.
Yeah.
You still would trade when the trade deadline?
July 31st.
Would you still trade Clase, Carlos Santana?
I would 100% trade Santana, Thomas, Seawald, and anyone else who's a free agent at the end of the season. And I would still trade Clase, yes. I'm not trading him unless I get a great offer because I got him for a number of years.
I'm sure you get a great offer.
But I'm
just
not
asking,
changing. The Guardians-
record-wise, like if they put themselves in a position where they could be, I don't know, 2 games out of the wild card.
Yeah, I'm
by
not
the-
doing it. They're not a legit contender. If they get hot against the White Sox and A's, 2 of the 4 worst teams in baseball, I'll be shocked if they win tonight. I know it's baseball. They're facing Hunter Brown. He's been one of the 5 best pitchers in baseball this year, so
How old is Hunter Brown, by the way?
not old. I think
12,
this is his 3rd year in the
13.
league. He stunk last year. Stunk. He pitched better at the end of the year.
What's wrong with you?
But the first 4 months of last season, he was terrible. And then the last 2 months he pitched well. This year he's been lights out.
Yeah, his numbers this year are crazy. I didn't realize how good he's been.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, he's one of the best pitchers in the game.
See,
right
this is
now.
what happens when you actually bring up people that you actually drafted that are good and you play them. You don't say that they
You
get tired.
you off the Travis Bazana,
Bro, I bring listen. Anybody, I have a whole A-ball team up here giving tryouts
Hey,
at this
Bull.
point.
Yeah.
Hunter Brown
Tryout.
has 17 starts this season.
Yeah.
15 of the 17, 2 or fewer runs.
Yeah, he's been magnificent.
16 of the 17, 3 or fewer runs.
Yeah.
Guardians in for a tough one
You
tonight.
just bring the whole Clippers team.
Bro,
up.
I swap them out. You guys are playing. You guys are. You're at Lake County. The Lake County is gonna go. All they're gonna come up here. That's how we're gonna move.
At least as Travis Bazzani got left for his injury. Has it been 6 weeks?
no idea.
It's a wrap.